family, it's your boy Matteo J, and welcome to Matteo J Presents. Today's video is dedicated to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I recently hosted a panel discussion around domestic violence. Shout out to I Am Perspective and all the panelists who participated, as well as Lips Cafe for providing the space. And today I want to dive in deeper into my story, give you some background around my experience with domestic violence growing up and how it played into my situation. So I grew up in a two-parent household. My mom and dad were together until I was about eight years old. And for the most part, I experienced a loving relationship. There were moments where the relationship did become violent, and it was due to my dad's battle with alcoholism. In the moments where he would drink, there would be a rage that came over him, and he would particularly take out that rage on my mom. It was rarely towards me and my sister. I don't have vivid memories of him even lifting a finger on me. What I do remember are the moments where he would drag my mom by her hair. He would slap her up. I remember my mom doing the best that she could to defend herself. I remember having to grab knives. One birthday in particular, she had to hold him back with a knife to get him out of the house because he was drunk and getting violent. I remember her having to call the cops, and the nights that we spent in the police station. The most vivid memory was the last time that it happened when we were living in Puerto Rico, and she finally snapped and beat the crap out of him, and then moved me and my sister back to New York where our family was. So I grew up seeing it a lot. And I never noticed how much it impacted me. I know I was happy when she left because my mom just was different. The way she interacted with me and my sister was different. She was all about us, and she just seemed to be in a happier space. But I never thought about how did me seeing that growing up impact me and the way I see relationships until I started dating. So when I started dating, I definitely had an affinity for men who were assertive, aggressive, right? Let me not try to sugarcoat it. These were men who were in the streets, who had grown up a certain way, similar to me, who would snap at anything, cuss anybody out, fight if they needed to. And I was attracted to that because that's what I knew, right? My uncles were very similar. I, again, grew up in a household where violence was present in a loving relationship. So I was like, oh, that's just how it goes. It was rarely directed towards me, right? Of course, I probably got cursed out a couple times, but it wasn't anyone putting their hands on me until I started dating this one dude. Now, this guy was cool as hell. He had a rough upbringing, right? He grew up in the projects. He wasn't living with his mom because his mom was battling her own demons. But he grew up in the streets and had pulled himself out of it, which I thought was so dope, right? Because there wasn't a lot of examples for me of people who had pulled themselves out of the street life. And he was a hardworking guy, super cool, and him and I just vibed really, really well. I noticed there were moments where he would have fits of rage, but it was rarely towards me. And I also noticed he liked to play fight a lot, and I didn't see anything wrong with that. That's how I grew up. Me and my uncles, me and my cousins, me and my sister, we just play fought. That's what we did. So I didn't see anything wrong with it. But what I did notice is that he would kind of get a little too rough with the play fighting. There was a lot of times where I said, all right, chill, what's going on? Because he would hit me extremely hard. I started getting bruised up, and he would always apologize, but I would never think anything of it. But there was this one day we were having a conversation around him doing more, right? Because I was younger than him. I was still 18, 19 years old, but I was working really hard. So I was able to do a lot financially for myself and was able to help him out. And I just needed him to do more. It was just I can't keep paying all your bills for you like this, man. I got my own stuff. I got to help my family at home. I can't do this for you. And he just became very nasty with it. It started really attacking me yo, you nothing, you ain't nobody, you think you all that, I could do better than you. And of course, I started going back and forth with him if go do your thing. I don't know if you could do better. You can't even get a job. You broke. What are you talking about? And that set him off. We've never had an argument like that before, but my mouth is nasty, so I knew where to go. I knew where to really hit to frustrate him. I know not working and not having money wasn't something that he was used to, and it made him feel less of a man. And it was all right, I'm gonna go right there because you attacking me. We started tussling around, and he ended up getting me on the floor. And in the moment where he got me on the floor, I was like, yo, chill. Like, let's not do this. Let's talk. Just let me up. Just let me up. But he was far gone. Next thing I know, he had his hand around my throat and was choking me. And it wasn't like a light choke. It was like he was suffocating me while I was on that floor. I could not breathe. And I was like, yo, I can't breathe. Let me go. Let me go. Then he started laughing. And I was like, yo, I'm not playing. Why are you laughing? And something had snapped. It was crazy what I saw. And I was like super scared in that moment. Like, yo, is this man really about to kill me? And I'm like doing whatever I could do to get out of it. And I don't know what came over him, but he finally let me go. And I took a moment like to catch my breath, and he was like, yo, I was just playing. I was like, no, you're not. And he was like, no, I was just playing. Next thing you know, I just started swinging, and I was catching him left, right, hitting him. And he fell on the bed, and I'm just still hitting him. But the whole time I'm doing this, he's laughing. And so I'm looking at it like, you know, I'm thinking I'm winning. I'm like, yeah. But ultimately he's laughing. And I'm like, this is psycho. I got to get out of here. So I started putting on my stuff to leave. And he was like, yo, I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. I'm out. And then on my way home, I started crying because I was just like reflecting on like, yo, did that really happen? And it instantly took me back to like the situations between my mom and my dad. And I was just like, yo, this ain't right. This ain't right. I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to be in a situation where this was happening. I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to be my mom. No disrespect to her, but I had nothing holding me. I didn't have any kids or anything, so I could leave. I didn't. I stood for at least another 3 weeks trying to make it work, trying to see like what I could do to help him. I just wanted to help him. I wanted to heal him. But then I had to realize that wasn't my place. There was nothing I could do to help him. He had to want to help himself. So we ended up going our separate ways. I think 2 important things I learned from the situation that I've been able to take with me throughout life is, 1, abuse is abuse no matter where it occurs. Oftentimes we look at abuse, domestic violence, as something that only happens to women, and it doesn't. Not only does it occur to men in same-sex relationships, it occurs to men in heterosexual relationships. So we get to acknowledge that, and we get to support men the same way we support women in that situation. Just because we're men doesn't mean that we don't experience abuse. It doesn't mean that we are immune to being hurt physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So we get to support and be advocates for that as well. And the second thing is how important it is to really share our stories, to create a space for others to do the same, to allow our testimonies to support other people in getting out of their situation. I know for myself, this is the second year that I've created a forum to have a conversation around domestic violence. And the reason behind that is because I want to support others in doing the same. I want others to speak up and say, this has happened to me. This is happening to me. I need support, and what support looks like. There's a dear friend of mine named Ashley, and in us doing this work together for 2 years in a row, she has been able to really see how far she's come and now create the space for others to do the same. She talks about it now with such confidence and is in a beautiful relationship now, and can still share the struggle that she faced. So creating a space for healing to occur, creating a space for vulnerability to occur, and awareness and education is all I'm trying to do. And if in the process I could save one life, then glory be to God for allowing me to create these spaces. As always, family, thank you so much for your love and support. This video, my one request of you is that you love up on people. Tell someone you love them. And if you know someone is going through a situation that's violent, that's not okay, that's controlling, any of those things that can lead to some type of mental, physical, spiritual, emotional abuse, be supportive, offer them resources to get out. And if they're not ready, just be the open space for them when they are. With that being said, I love you all. Thank you. Talk to you later, family.